Welcome to the Secret Sex Lives of Muslim Women. I'm your host, Salma Hindi. On this show, we pride ourselves on being your wise, older Muslim sister, a figure that many of us didn't get to have in our own lives while growing up. So we always listen and we never judge. And we have so many brave Muslim women who come on either as themselves or anonymously to share one of their stories. Today, we have an anonymous Muslim guest. To protect her identity, we will be calling her Yasmine. Yasmine is of Pakistani descent and grew up living between Pakistan, UAE, and Canada. She's somebody who has lived multiple lives, a devout Muslim daughter, a rebellious teenager, wife, divorcee, sugar baby, and now a woman deeply in love with her wants and desires, someone who is finally ready to take control of her own narrative. Yasmine, welcome to our show. Very happy to have you here.
That's so sweet. I love this intro. It's very cute.
Well, so can you start by telling me a little bit about yourself?
I was born in Pakistan. I lived there till I was like in my early teens. And then I moved to Dubai. And in Pakistan, it was very obviously like very misogynistic environment. But I kind of grew up without my dad. So I didn't...
You grew up without your dad. So what's your family structure? Like, what's your birth order?
So I'm the eldest daughter. Then I have one sister who's really not that much younger than me, and she is like my best friend. We were like mistaken for twins our whole life, and she has taken on the younger sibling role real fast.
What does that mean?
Like she's your average younger sister. She's just like a bratty little thing, which is so funny because she's not that much younger than me.
So it's just you and your sister, and you grew up with your mom and I assume your grandparents in Karachi?
Yes, so I had my nanny, is my mom's mom, and I had my mom, and it was just the two of us girls, and basically the four of us girlies, and it was a really good time, but I didn't realize, I also went to a girls' school, and I didn't realize that there was misogyny until I really stepped out. Like as I grew older, I kind of like realized it because I didn't have a brother. I think most women, especially Muslim women, face it when they have a brother, they have a father in the house. But my dad was away like sailing a lot, so he would that's what he did for work. So he would not be home for long periods of time, and when he would be home, he would come showering us with like gifts and money, and that has always been my father's love language. And honestly, I'm not complaining, but it was a weird, like, I didn't like know him as my father, you know?
Interesting. So like how in a full year, like how often would you see him or spend quality time with him?
Maybe out of like 12 months, I would see him 2 to 3 months, sometimes maybe 4 months if we were lucky.
Okay, so he would come stay with you guys for a while, then leave.
Yes, but when he was with us for a while, he was like kind of strict, but also because he was there for such a short duration, like he wasn't able to be the kind of dad that he was once we moved to Dubai.
How old were you when you moved to Dubai?
I was 15 years old, and which was quite old to be honest. Like I just started high school, and it was a very different vibe because it was also a co-ed school, and my father suddenly had all of these rules, and I remember him asking my mom like, "Aren't you praying?"
So you started living with your father when you moved to Dubai?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay, so you went with basically like daddyless to daddy when you were in your teens, and then you're in a brand new country. And I'm assuming, like, I mean, I've been to Dubai. I haven't been to Pakistan, but I have been to like Egypt, and it's giving similar vibes. So I'm assuming the jump was also big in terms of like classism and stuff.
And even culture shock. Like it was a huge culture shock. Like people were obviously from all walks of life in Dubai, and I just didn't know that that's what you could be. It was a very exciting time for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was not sad to leave Pakistan. No offense to Pakistan, but I have spent my whole life getting away from that country, that society, and I feel like I'm still stuck in it. Anyway, no offense to Pakistan. Really, please don't come at me. But
we love Pakistan, okay?
From far.
So what was it like? So now talk to me about the culture. So you said growing up in Pakistan, it was kind of misogynistic, and you especially felt it as for women. What was it like? Like, did you know anything about your body, sex, periods? Like, what was all of that like?
I didn't know anything until I was like 12 years old. And the way I found out about sex was we were in class and we were doing literature, English literature. And there was this Pakistani British teacher who had like obviously come from the UK, and she was really young. Like, she must have been 22 herself, and she was teaching like these 11, 12-year-olds. And I remember thinking, we were talking about the Gorgon's Lair was the name of the story, and they were talking about how Poseidon lay in the temple with Medusa, which is not what happened, by the way. He raped her. Sorry for just throwing that out. Trigger warning, but that's what he did. He did not lay in bed with her, but someone basically grasped onto that lay in bed, and I think that girl totally knew what she was doing. And she was like, "Miss, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What if you lay next to her in the temple? What does that mean?" And that's when it all started coming apart. That poor woman was like in shock. She was just like hyperventilating. She had to go and call the headmistress and be like, I can't tell you these things. First, she just said it. She was like, sex. They were having sex. And I was like, what's that? And nobody knew. So we all started asking her questions. And she just like ran out of class to the headmistress. And the headmistress came and she was like, girls. Why are you torturing poor teacher like that? They were absolutely freaking out, and then she totally decided not to tell us. Like, the headmistress came and we had questions and she was like, no. And then we started talking to each other, and then that girl who did ask that question divulged that she actually knew what sex was.
Of course.
And I'm basically, my first ever education was from an 11-year-old Pakistani girl, which is terrifying to think about. But that's how I found out what sex was. And then I went and told all of my cousins.
Amazing. You were the corrupted one. No, okay, here's the thing about sex. If you don't tell children about sex, they will find out, and it will spread like wildfire, because that's exactly how I found out too. I went to Islamic school, no sex education, nothing, like, aside from our moms talking to us separately about periods, and there was some like chatter here and there because we would notice when a girl wouldn't pray or whatever. But nothing about sex till I was in the 4th grade. Okay, I was 9 years old, and then this girl came from public school, and she was freshly corrupt. Okay, and her parents like sent her to Islamic school as like a spiritual rehab, but all she did was corrupt the rest of us. Okay, so I come in one day, and then all I hear is everyone's running to me. They're like, Salma, like, Rana is saying that apparently like all of our parents at some point in time saw each other naked, and that's called sex. And I was like, keep my parents' name out of your fucking mouth. I was like, maybe your parents did that. My parents are good Muslims. They would never do that. And then they were like, no, that's how they had us, whatever. And then my older sister comes to pick me up. She's like 14 years older than me. She was married with kids at this point. She comes to pick me up, and I was like, oh my God, I heard the most disgusting thing today from this girl. Like, she's going around spreading rumors that apparently our parents saw each other naked, and it's something called sex. Isn't that disgusting? And then my sister was like, you're gonna have to ask your parents about that. I was like, no! I was traumatized. And then after that, I told my brother, and apparently he found out about it at the same time. He was 2 years older than me, so he was like in a different grade, but the boys were also chatting around that time about it. And so then we would just like go talk and hear what people were saying on the playground and like exchange notes. Like, that was my sex education.
Yeah. What a wild time to be alive, really.
Dude, like, I didn't know what anything was. I didn't know if there were holes. My brother was like, I heard you could do it from behind. I was like, oh, how? I didn't know anything.
I did not found out anything about anal sex till like much later.
I don't even think he was talking about anal sex. I think he was talking about like doggy style. I think he was just talking about a different position.
Probably talking about doggy style.
Yeah, that's so funny. My brother explaining to me doggy style when I'm 11, and I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
I could not go to a single wedding without thinking they're gonna fuck. And obviously I wasn't thinking they're gonna fuck. I was thinking they're gonna have sex. No, I was like fascinated by it, but like not enough, because I still had like that devout Muslim girl in me, and I was like, no, this is a bad thing, and you only do this with someone you like love. So I started like, I have this thing where I like daydream a lot, and my sister is much worse. I used to like listen to Bollywood songs, and because in Bollywood songs you have all of these, you know, like guys and girls dancing their duets usually, and I love duets. And I would imagine like on the ride to school, or I would like imagine an entire story to these songs, and I would do it at whoever I was either crushing on. So the guy would change, and he still does. And then I would, or like the hottest actor that I knew at that point that I was really crushing on, and I would pretend that we would, so I would fantasize about all of this stuff, but I would be like, this would only, like, it's only a fantasy, it's only happening after marriage, like, I'll never touch myself. And I didn't like touch myself until so much later, like way after I started having sex, which is
interesting.
wild. Yeah.
Wild but not uncommon, honestly. A lot of women have sex before they masturbate. And actually, like, in Egypt, they're, like, my like, biggest slut friends who, like, sleep with everyone and their mom, not really, but, like, you know what I mean, sleep with everyone, they don't masturbate. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, it's just so much better with someone else. I'm like, but it's your own body. Like, they feel shame around it. So it's not uncommon, but of course it is, I guess, unusual in terms of the path or like the journey. So you find out about sex when you're 13, and then did anything happen between then and when you guys left to Dubai?
No, in terms of, obviously I wrote unhinged things about a man I was crushing on in my yearbook. Not in my diary, which I recently found, by the way, and it's actually grotesquely embarrassing. Like, I have shame around that. Like, that's embarrassing.
Oh,
that girl
so...
was not cool. She was obsessed with this man who had looked at her. I would like pour apart every single action, glance, like we weren't even friends.
Wow, so you basically had like Limrance, like this OCD rumination fantasy addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that usually happens when you're bored or you have some trauma that you're trying to like escape from. Like, this becomes your relief without you even realizing, because you think it's harmless, right? Like, people can police everything about you but except your mind. Nobody's in there. And then you create like a fucking obstacle course, and then or like a circus in there, and then one day you're like, wait, why am I like exhausted, and why is everything so high stakes, and why is my nervous system like literally freaking out? And it's like, oh yeah, because of what's been happening here over the years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have this like Limrance that keeps you company till you get to Dubai. And then what happens when you get to Dubai?
Yeah, I mean, I never really got rid of it. I think I still kind of use it, but not as much as I used to, which is fair. I also don't have as much time. But the point where I actually did anything about anything, and when I decided, like, I didn't think that I would ever have sex with someone without being married to them, which is so funny to say now. But I was fully like, no, I'm going to marry someone at the age of 21, and I'm going to, you know, like, be with him, and then I'm going to have sex with him, and we're going to have an amazing sex life. But I genuinely didn't feel curious about it. I found it fascinating, but I didn't feel like I should do something, because I genuinely didn't know you could masturbate. Like, women masturbating, unheard of. So I didn't masturbate, but I also didn't like look at porn or anything. I just couldn't give a shit. Honestly, my mom had a talk with me when I was 9 years old, which was like, you're gonna start bleeding. You're just not supposed to freak out. That's all she said. She's like, don't freak out. Okay. It's normal. And I didn't ask follow-up questions. I was not a very curious child, apparently. She was really traumatized because her mom didn't tell her, and she got her period at age 16, and she just walked around with a giant...
16?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's old.
Yeah, it's pretty late. That's what I thought. I mean, I got my period at 12. She was just like, I can't make it go through what I went through.
Now you're in Dubai. When do you start anything? When do you start dating? When do you start to like actually live in reality?
I had like an internet boyfriend, but that's not living in reality. I was like 13. Again, I will not count that. I do not count that. And then I actually had a boyfriend in grade 10, which was like, I was 15, and he was like very sweet, and we were together for all of 28 days, Salma, and I cried. He dumped my ass to go back to a girl.
No! Wait, how long were you guys together? 28 days? Is that what you said? Oh my god, that motherfucker.
I wrote him a love letter. It was laminated with my lipstick print on it.
Oh my god. No, you're giving psychotic. You're giving PowerPoint presentation in the middle of the Starbucks. That's so cute.
It was very sweet. I was so in love. But he tried to kiss me once, and I actively froze. Like, I didn't move. I didn't, like, he was behind me and he was trying to turn me around, and I just didn't move. I froze. I was like, look at the field. There is something there.
Oh, you got scared.
So we didn't even kiss in our 28 days of courtship. So obviously there was no sex to be had. And then I had like a couple of other boyfriends, but like I dated a few guys here and there, but then the only serious relationship I got in was in university, which is where I kissed a man for the first time.
How old were you?
21. And I also made the decision to have sex with him.
Okay, and how was that?
It was very, very nice. Like, I still remember, I'm so glad it went that way, because I think that might have shaped the way I look at sex now, because I thought I was a very ace person, like, not really very sexual. Not true. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, and I realized that only once, because I was so in love with him, and that was like that was actual, like, we were together for almost 2 years, and that was like very sweet. It was still puppy love because obviously I'm 21 years old, but it was still like love, you know, like I loved him with my whole heart. I could feel it, and I wanted to express that in more just. So I remember telling him I want to have sex, and he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, because he was a virgin and I was a virgin, and I was like, yes, I'm sure. I just love you so much. I want to express it in a bigger way. So it was very sweet. And our sex was amazing. Our sex life was amazing. It was very nice. And then I realized that I didn't want to just fuck him for the rest of my life anymore. And I was very curious about sex in general, because I'm like, wait, this feels really good. This is so much fun. There's a little dance around it. There's like, you know, smell. There's like different kinds of, what is it called? Like
pheromones.
Yeah, and like everything's activated, right? So I found it very interesting, and I didn't know that this existed. And since then, I have not been able to get it off my mind in any capacity, really. I'm always kind of thinking about sex in some way, shape, or form.
First of all, yes, everything is about sex. It's so crazy. Do you know that Kevin Spacey quote in House of Cards where he says, everything is about sex except for sex, it's about power?
Yes.
How long did you guys date before you were like, oh, actually I want to explore other people, or I want to like experience other people?
Yeah, it was very hard. It actually wasn't very hard for me, because I also did like an asshole thing. I led him on for a long time because he was like, and then I kind of gave him an ultimatum because I knew who wouldn't come through, and I was like, let's get married. And then I was like, oh, fuck no, I don't want to marry this man. I want to go fuck other people. But I also didn't realize that was me not being monogamous. Like that is a very, I remember being like actively like, I love this person and I want to be with him, but I also want to fuck other people, and this doesn't make me a bad person. But there was a lot of shame around that. So I, like, all of my friends were like, why did you leave him? Like, things were perfect. He's amazing. And honestly, all of those are true things. He is like a good person, and we had a great sex life. But I just wanted to explore this world, and you know, I didn't even know at that point what it was called. So we broke up and I was like 23. Yeah, so like we dated for 2 years, but then we slept together for another year, which was a dumb idea, but we've all been there.
Everyone's gotta do it.
Rite of passage.
Exactly. And then during that time when you guys were hooking up for a year, are you starting to sleep with other people at this point?
Yes, but because I wanted to be true to myself and do the right thing, because I've always been taught to do the right thing, and eldest daughter, blah, 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 blah. So I decided to like tell him each time that I was going to go fuck other people. And he would get so upset, rightfully so, now that I think about it.
Of course! He didn't want it to be open.
I was like, listen, I'm just telling you the truth. It's just the truth. I don't want to lie to you.
Yasmine, you be moving like a fuckboy, and I actually really respect that. Every time I meet a woman who's like moving like a fuckboy, I'm like, you know what? We need more of you. Okay, restore balance in the dating world. Okay, think that every woman is a sexual, how do I say this, fiend. Okay, and I do believe that it just needs to be like unleashed and brought out in like a nourishing, safe way. And I feel like you had that with him for like 2 years. If you guys were able to have an amazing sex life that was safe and probably like inspired you to grow, and then maybe you felt like you hit a wall or you hit a ceiling, and now you wanted to go out and find out what else is there out there, and what kind of kinks there are, what you like, and you know, maybe more adventure. So I think it's beautiful that you had that, and I do believe that if a lot of women in general, but let's say Muslim women too, had that experience like early, they might also get to a point where they're not like trying to prove anything or trying to chase, and now they're actually living in their true element, which is to explore and experience. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what was dating like in Dubai?
Very transient. So I started sleeping with a lot of people, like a lot of people. And Salma, I was not using one condom.
What?
My best friend hates this. Like, she will actually kill me. And honestly, she should have killed me. Not one condom, not one STI. Only Allah was looking out for me. I'm not even joking.
Whoa, God loves you. Girl, God loves you. Okay, wait, I need some numbers, because to quote you, you said that you slept with half of Dubai. So what does that mean in terms of body count?
I mean, look, it's a staggering amount of people. I started to keep a list because I didn't want to be one of those people who forget the names of people they've slept with. But then I realized that this is just egregious. So I was like, stop. So I stopped keeping that list. So I no longer keep a list because it's way over that now. But where I stopped at was when I moved to Canada. So like a couple like years after that. So maybe like 5 years ago I stopped this. Yeah, I stopped it at 84.
Okay.
So in Dubai, that must have been 50 of them.
Okay. Girl, I mean, I will say that is a high body count, but anybody I know who has a high body count is between 50 to like 100.
Yeah, I mean, it's way over 100 now, for sure.
Right. Okay, so and no STI, no protection, very crazy. You're playing with fire. But then how do you feel? Like, I guess talk to me about what it's like in the bedroom and what you get out of sleeping with someone. I'm assuming a lot of these people, or most of them, are strangers, right?
Yes, so most of them were like, I did a lot of the app stuff, and now I've changed the game. I just usually go on Field, which is like a very specific, Field. What am I talking about?
I know Field, yeah. You it's like very kink forward, and everyone is so honest on there in a refreshing way, honestly.
Yes, I love that, because I'm like, I don't want to do all this bullshit, because men love to say they love sex, but guess what? They are terrible at it. Why are they so bad at it? If they love sex, why are you so bad at it?
Because they watch porn, right? They don't know what it actually means to feel.
Yeah, I think the reason why men love sex is because they get off, versus like the reason why I love sex is like all of those things around it. Like, I love sexual chemistry. Like, I like have identified what I'm into. I'm so type A. I put it down in a little notes app, and now every time you go on Field, because I have to come up with like things I like, I don't like, and I will like throw in consent in there, where it's like, consent, you can leave whenever you fucking want. In the middle of mid-stroke, you can leave.
Mid-stroke, totally.
That should be okay. Don't make it awkward. It's already kind of awkward, so like, don't make it worse. And I just have this entire thing, and one of the things that it's been engineered over the years, but one of the things that remains constant is like, I love intensity. I'm really into, and sex, I think, is one of the few places in our lives where we're allowed to be that intense. And it's hot. Like, it's like intense and it's hot. So it's like a marriage of these two things, which I find very fascinating. And yeah, in general, I just think there's so much to explore with your body and just with other people, and just like sometimes I realize that there's things like you can be really attracted to someone, and as soon as you kiss them, their spit tastes off. So your bodies are not vibing, So chemistry is really, really important, but not just social chemistry, like actual sexual chemistry. So I really chase that, and I think because that is not something that you usually will find thriving in a long-term relationship, it's what I realize that I like to sleep with other people for, like the sexual chemistry. But saying that, like, my partner Max and I have maintained it. Like, of course, it's become like, we've been together 2 years now, and we've been fucking, and I'm just really surprised that we still have very intense sex.
What's going on in your mind? Do you think that this is a coincidence, like you guys are just lucky, or do you think like you are compatible and you're matched, or do you think it's like a conscious decision? Because I think people's relationship to sex is really interesting. Like, I don't know much details about your actual sex life, but for instance, I like a lot of foreplay, and I think women in general just like being warmed up slowly, and like, things just being very sensual and more full of devotion and like care and chemistry, but then also, of course, like rough, and then there's all the kinks and stuff that I would get into after I feel comfortable enough and safe enough with a man. So that's why I personally can't sleep with someone on the first night. Like, I've tried it, I can't. I'm physically incapable of having a one night stand, but I know exactly what turns me on. I know how to get a guy to do exactly what I need him to do to get my body to open up and trust him. And if the guy doesn't want to do that, or is bad at doing that, bye.
Yeah.
You don't even stand a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Your pussy said no.
My pussy will not let you in. She will spit you out. Oh my God, she controls. One time I tried to override her. I like told the guy, it was the biggest dick I've ever seen in my life. Please. First of all, I'm like the Goldilocks of dicks. Okay, I saw the smallest and the biggest right after each other. I was like, oh my God. Okay, so this guy's like, dick is this big. I was like, Massive, so thick. By the way, he was like 5'7", short king, okay? Greek/Italian. Catholic school teacher, baby.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
yeah, the drama. And so I see his massive ass dick, and I'm like, where are you gonna put that? In me? In me? I was like, there's no space. But then I was like, you know what? Let's just override her. Like, let's override my pussy. Just shove it in. And he shoved it in. Immediately, he could tell that he hurt me. And literally after that, I was like, no, you gotta get out right now. Like, I can't do anything. And I bled like all night. And then I got like a bacterial infection.
Oh.
Oh, that was hell. I thought it was a yeast infection, but it wasn't.
BV is like the worst. I've never gotten it.
BV was hell.
But yeast infections, I've gotten. Unfortunately, I hate them. But I've heard it's so much worse. BV is so much worse. I don't know how I've not gotten any of the shit, by the way. I should be the person getting them. My poor friend, she has sex like once in a year, and she gets an yeast infection. She's like, I hate myself. Why do you never get this?
But here's the thing. I do think that UTIs and yeast infections and bacterial infections are, and whatever STIs, they're all, it's like your body rejecting the other person. And I think like in that moment, I did reject that guy. Like my body already had rejected him. She wasn't letting him in. And then I tried to like force his way in. So then I got her. I got now an open wound. Now I'm more susceptible to infections. And then also like, I don't know. Yeah, I hear that also with girls who get UTIs a lot from a guy. It's like your body is rejecting them in a way. But it sounds like you, Yasmine, like it sounds like you have a really, like you have good experiences in that you are the one kind of directing them and pushing them forward, so you don't feel maybe as helpless and passive as possibly other women feel in their sexual life. But I don't know.
I think so. The thing that is different, which I've found in mostly hearing my friends' stories, is that I come mostly through penetration, and I know most women can, but this is it's unusual to discover that first. And so like I really do enjoy penetration. You don't need to get wet like this. You do not need to prep me for a really long time, and I really enjoy penetration. I've had a lot of bad sex, don't get me wrong. So out of this like 1,000 men that I was talking about, I've had a lot of bad sex.
Can I ask you, so you did do some sex work, right?
Yes.
Okay, and how was that? Did that start in Dubai?
No, because I was too scared of getting deported to Pakistan, and I would rather die, honestly. But I did it when I moved to Canada, and I was like, okay, so the laws here are like, they're not pro sex work. They've decriminalized it, so you won't get into any trouble. So I started doing that, and I realized you can make so much money off of this shit. But it's a lot of work. It's talking to men. The sex was not the hard part. It was not. I always say this. It was the talking. It was the pretending to laugh at their jokes and like sit there and pretend that you're into them. And I would rather literally do anything else. But it was kind of worth it because you got $400 at the end of it. Sometimes they would come in like 2 minutes. The sex was like very short. They just wanted to have sex with you, and by that they literally just meant being inside you. They were very respectful, most of them, when I started dropping my rates because I got banned on the platform, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I meant. Like,
what platform were you on?
Seeking arrangement. No.
Seeking arrangement, okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you get banned on the platform?
I think because you like can't, because it's a US based app, so you can't actually talk about money there. Because sex work is not decriminalized in the US, like not as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would meet them on this app, and then basically you would hang out with them, and you had like a rate for if you slept with them
for the time. Yeah, so I would be like, okay, I have 2 hours, and I would do it. Salma was such a hustler. I would do it between my lunch break. I would like take an Uber back to my house. It was like 15 minutes away. I would have sex with them there. I would either let them take me to really nice restaurants, and then I would make them go back to my place, fuck me. I would then shut them out, get them out of the door, shower, back to work.
Wow.
I did that for a long time until the pandemic, and I was doing that while I had already met my then boyfriend, who then turned into my husband, and he knew about it. I remember being like, telling him, he was not great about it. At the start, he was very great about it, and then later on, it started being weird. He started being really weird and started like slut shaming me. Our sex life was also shit, so I think he was feeling like a certain way about it, and I just assumed that sex life turns into shit when you're an adult or something, like after a certain period of time. That's not true. I have not found out, but it was a very different time. I no longer do it because I did do it a little bit last year because I became unemployed, but I genuinely hate it. I genuinely do not want to do it. Like, it's a lot of work, and I just don't think it's worth the money. It's like $400 Canadian. It's just not.
That's nothing. No, that's not worth it. Girly, I know some girls, I mean, not me like giving you advice on sex work now, but I know some girls who go on seeking arrangement, and they have like arrangements with the guy. They'll be like, okay, every month you pay my rent, and when we meet up for dinner you have to give me like $500 cash, and then they say, I won't sleep with you unless, like, we're basically like dating normal, but except with money involved. And then, you know, if I have sex with you, if it leads there, it leads there. Eventually, if it doesn't, it doesn't. You can just hire like basically a prostitute if you want to like sleep with them right now and right away. So that's what my friends who do it do, and they do get like a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that kind of stuff is very hard to find. Like, it's few and far in between. Obviously some people do get lucky with it, but I think it's like it's usually people who just want to see you like once or twice. I had one guy who just wanted to do dinner, but he wouldn't pay. Like, nobody's gonna pay you that unless you found like some amazing people, but nobody's gonna pay you that for not having sex with them. Sex is very much a part of the deal.
And did your relationship with your body change? Like, did you feel like you had to dissociate, or like you had to numb certain parts of yourself when you were with these men?
No, for sure, I definitely did. It's just also why I was like, this is like work and doing what you like to do for work, and some of them straight up smelled like that. They smelled like that. Like, I remember, I'm sure some of them died during
like
COVID.
What? Oh my God.
Some of my sugar daddies are 100% dead.
Oh, like they were really old.
So old.
Oh my God, like what are we talking?
We're talking 80s.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so like how do they even like get on top of you? Like, are they just like...
With great difficulty.
They're just like frail. Like, did one of them like break his hip on his way like on top of you?
No, thank God. But I remember one of them like tried to give me a kiss on my forehead after he was going, and I was like, stop.
Oh my God, Grandpa. Wow. Okay, so you mentioned that you were dating this dude who became your boyfriend, but then your sex life was terrible. So I'm assuming it started off good, then became terrible.
It didn't even start.
It was always terrible?
It was always.
So then why would you couple up with him?
I think it was because he was the only man who's ever wanted to be with me. Like, I think a lot of men ended up, and I felt this way for a really long time, and I still feel like sometimes it's true, just want to sleep with me, or just, you know, like, I'm down to sleep with them, so they're like, oh, this is just a now girl. And I just hate that mentality. Like, I don't want to even consider that anything. So while our sex life was always mediocre at best, he was like genuinely interested in being with me. But then I became his mom, and our sex life was also not happening, and then we got married, and then I was like, if we get married, we have to open up our marriage, or else I will kill myself, because I'm genuinely like in the worst mental health I've ever been in. Like, I wasn't even myself. I couldn't recognize myself anymore, because I'm like, who am I?
Wow.
I'm not even having sex right now.
So why did you marry him?
My parents, they wanted me to get married. Okay. Yeah, they were just, and like, we were together, and I loved him. I didn't want to give him up. I was just like, so I like pressured him into it, which honestly now I regret. But honestly, he was 2 years older than me. Like, stand your own fucking ground, man.
So you were living in Canada with your parents still?
No, my parents live in Dubai, but so we were living together, me and my ex. And it was a pandemic, and my parents wanted to come visit after it was over, and I was like, okay, I need to get married. I was a pandemic bride. So we got married in the pandemic, and my parents came over after, so I didn't have to be like, you know, like, we live together. It's very hard to like undo that and pretend for your parents, like, that's too much commitment to this thing. So I was like, I'd rather get married, actually. So I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got married to someone, sex life was mediocre, at best sex life was not happening, which is so crazy because you're literally a sex queen. But see, women will still, chop down on those standards for a man.
Yep.
Okay, we gotta get better at not doing that.
Yes.
But I get it, we're conditioned from birth, from pre-birth. So what happened? When did you guys get divorced?
I cannot even, like, he's very bad at communication. And I'm over communicator, and steadily got really bad, our communication. We both loved each other a lot, but honestly, he was not my forever person. We were not supposed to get married. We were supposed to date, and I was supposed to learn things, and I was supposed to move on. But you know what? It's fine. I keep on going back and forth with this because I'm like, if that didn't happen, I would not be who I am today. But also, oh my God, my heart broke like nobody's business. Like, I have a warped, like, I grew up on Bollywood, okay? So yes, I'm a hoe, but I'm also a Bollywood girly. So I really want to marry these two of these. This is the marriage I needed to see, actually. Just never seemed to happen. And I was like, okay, you're being ridiculous, you're being silly, you're being, naive, and you don't know these things. So I let the other thing happen, and I sometimes really regret it because I'm like, my heart broke. Like, I was supposed to be with this man forever, and I thought I would, at least for a long time. I didn't expect us to break up so fast. Like, within 2 years we were divorced. But we were together for like 5-ish years before that. So he's not a piece of shit. He's just not, like, we're not compatible. And he, like, he's not just as deep as a person, but I think that is a cis man problem.
Totally. Honestly, girl, incompatibility is like one of my biggest crises of faith, because I'll try and like intellectualize pain so much, and I'll like go into circles. Even when I'm like on a psychedelic, like if I'm doing mushrooms or if I'm like on ayahuasca or something like that, I'll just like circle all these thoughts, and then I'll get to the root of the problem, and it's literally that we're both incompatible, and it's nobody's fault, and you can't blame anyone. And then I'm devastated because I'm like, no, but I didn't want that. Like, that's not the script that I wrote, and I'm so mad at life and God and like whoever is running the show, realizing I actually have no power.
Yeah,
it's hard for me faith-wise.
Yeah, no, it kind of like shook me to my core. I just didn't even like, I was looking for an escape out of that marriage, but after it happened, I was like, oh my God, like, this person's not going to be in my life anymore. And he was my whole life. And like, I'm a love girl, and I've always been. And I don't do that shit with like people I don't love, obviously. So not these men who were like, I was treating them fine, but I wasn't treating them very nicely, actually. I was kind of mean to them because I wouldn't let them see this side of me. But when I'm in it, I am so in it. I'm the best girlfriend in the whole wide world. Okay, I'll make you breakfast. I will do the sweetest little things for you. Feed you with my fucking hands. Like, I'm extremely maternal, which is also why I've chosen not to have children. I cannot do this.
Right. So you guys get divorced, and then what kind of a journey do you go on after that?
So, like, we got divorced while we were already, like, in a 2-year open marriage. So, right after we got married, we basically opened it up because I forced him. And that's fine. He was an adult. You know what? No, I didn't force him. I said that we do this or I walk, which is threatening, sure. And I am a little threatening, sure.
You're like, I did give an ultimatum and put a gun to his head, but
he could have
free will.
He could have walked away. But he didn't. And if you ask him why we broke up, he will say the open marriage, which is really laughable because I feel like it saved us. It saved us, and we went on as long as we did because I was getting railed regularly. That meant that I was a happy person. I am not fun to be around. If I'm not getting like laid every 3 business days, like I am a nightmare. I like saw that you were being celibate, and I was like, good for Salma. I would actually kill myself.
Would you ever consider celibacy?
No, Salma, are you listening to what I'm saying?
I am listening, but I guess because I joined, I don't know, I joined them for a little bit, and then the group that I was going to was kind of fucking racist, so I stopped going. But I was going to SLAW, which is the Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. Girly, what you're describing sounds a bit of an addiction. Have you ever thought of that?
No, I have not. I actually have. And I actually spoke to my therapist about it, and I was like, look, I definitely look at sex. Like, sex is like definitely a coping mechanism for me. It just makes me feel good. So I will, like, if I'm going through something, I will like call up someone to be like, come over and like, let's fuck. So I told my therapist this, and my therapist was like, honestly, there are worse addictions.
So funny. The thing is, like, when I was reading the 12 basically signs that you have a love or sex addiction. Every single fucking human in North America at least does. I really think that everybody does to some degree. To join the program and to like really kind of take control of your life, they make you like abstain for 3 months at least, like where you don't date anybody. Some even say no masturbation, which is kind of crazy.
It sounds like Islam.
Well, I would say like all of us, the most difficult part of adulthood is like reparenting yourself and trying to figure out how best to optimize your life and your routine based on the brain that you have, right? Especially if you're neurodivergent, like I am. And especially as an engineer and a Virgo, which those two things go really well together, I love to like kind of like do experiments on myself and see like what's happening. So the reason why I am celibate, or I appreciate the 3-month withdrawal period, is because like you have to hold certain factors, like in science or in math or physics, when you're trying to like figure out an unknown variable in an equation, you have to hold the other variables static.
Yeah.
They have to not change, so that we see what's changing and we figure out like what is causing it, what is the root, what's going on. You figure out like what that actual variable is by holding everything else constant. Because if everything's moving, then you don't know what's causing what, right? So for me, celibacy is a decision that I made to stop external entry into my energy and into my space, into my body, so that I can get my nervous system under control on its own, because I'm coming with an entire backstory of trauma, like 30 plus years of intense abuse, violence, and spiritual, psychological trauma. So I'm not well, and once I stopped the dating and even like the fantasy addiction, which I do have, I still like every morning I'm talking to ChatGPT, like drawing tarot cards about like my past three crushes. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm still obsessed with them. I make it draw a card for each of them. Like, I'm still a little girl playing with her Barbies, pretending like that these men are mine. But my reality is that I'm not fucking with anybody at all, and because of that, I can start to notice how I move platonically, how I'm perceived socially, and I can see everything now. Like, I'm very explosive, I'm very impatient, I'm dealing with a lot of grief, and this is how it's coming out on everybody around me. I'm not pleasant to be around at all, actually. Which is surprising for people, because 2% of the time, which is 100% of what people see online, is me being performative, is me being very cheerful, but in reality, I'm like miserable a lot of the times. If we think of life as like a playground analogy, I was never allowed to play alone without someone bothering me or putting a curfew or harming me. And now I finally get to play alone, and I want to play in my corner. To me, people who have casual sex and who are so easily intertwined and easily detached, I have attachment issues. People who can do that, they're the ones playing on the jungle gym. They're like playing with each other. They're okay to go home when their parents call them. They know they're going to come back the next day. Meanwhile, me, I'm so traumatized. I'm in my corner. I'm like, I just want to play in my corner. I need my safe space. Like, I don't know if I'm also like autistic as well or something, like, the fake ADHD autism, where I'm like also I get overwhelmed if there's a lot of like things happening socially that I'm not aware of or I have no control over. And like, my thing is, I want someone who wants to come play in my corner a little bit, or like who likes to come play with me, and he comes regularly. And then one day I'll invite him to my corner, but that means to me, like, he has to respect the rules of my corner, which is be very like calm, very slow, very like low, like nothing explosive, nothing like, because that's my trauma from like my dad and stuff, right? So I need the factors to stay put so I can get things under control, because there's a tsunami underneath me that I'm trying to process, while also living a very insane, crazy life right now as an artist with no status. Like, I do have status, but I mean no citizenship, absolutely zero support, no job even. I don't know. It's a miracle. It's legitimately a miracle that I'm still here.
You are going through too much. You are going through so much right now. Like, you're doing the best that you can, and I'm like very proud of you. By the way, I've watched your stuff since your Mississauga days.
You're so sweet. When you move to a new country, it's very traumatic. Like, I mean, you moved a lot as well, but I don't have anybody here. I don't have family. I don't have family friends. The only people I know are comedians. Comedians not good people to date, honestly. Like, we can get into that. It's a whole discussion. But if I'm meeting someone off an app or I'm meeting a stranger, like I have no way to contextualize them. I don't know who they are, who their friends are, where they're coming from, like what kind of a person this is. I don't have my own support system. I don't have a stable place yet. I don't have like a job. I don't feel empowered at all to date someone because I'm just so susceptible to easy attachment, and men do not like that. I kind of want what you had with your first boyfriend. I want someone, I don't need a forever person. I just want someone who I can have a good connection with, where the sex will be amazing, so that I can explore sex with this person as much as I can, and then eventually hit a wall and move forward or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and I really feel like it's shaped why I feel so safe and in control. It's also another thing, I think the layer is body dysmorphia. Like I grew up fat, my mother hated me being fat, and she, I think, is kind of worse than normal like Pakistani Arab moms, you know, like they all fat shame, but she's kind of worse, I think, because she has kind of body dysmorphia, so she would like project it on me a lot, and she would just say it so much that to the point that other Pakistani aunties would be like, please stop saying that much.
Oh wow,
it was really bad. She called me such bad things, and now I don't see myself the same way because I see myself through her lens. And like my therapist and I have worked on this, and I feel like I've come really far in my body dysmorphia, but genuinely I didn't even wear my hair up because my mom was like, your face looks fat. Like, you think when it's down it doesn't look fat? What does that even mean? I started doing that 2 years ago, wearing my hair up.
Aww. Dude, I was the same way. My mom hated me being fat also. I was fat my whole life growing up. She hated that I was tall too, like tall and fat. They were just like, oh, you can't hide you. They're like, my mom would say you're like a building, and you know, I have thunder thighs, and like she nitpicked everything. Yeah, if you wear your hair up, you look fatter.
Yeah, just like little things on your face, which I feel like is so mean. I feel like complicated feelings towards her because
she thinks she's doing it out of love to push you to be better, but for you it's really hurtful. It's abuse, right? It's like bullying.
Yeah, and she was my first, and honestly, like, it's very surprising that I faked a lot of my confidence and it became real, and it did become real. Like, I am very confident in who I am now, but I still have body dysmorphia. Like, I genuinely still understand. Like, I remember looking at photos, like selfies I would take with my friends, and I would like look at it and immediately just look at myself and be like, am I looking the best?
My mom used to be like, you're not allowed to take photos with this one friend of yours because she's prettier than you and she makes you look like so ugly in comparison. And she was my best friend, so if I ever took photos with her and like made it my profile picture, my mom would be like, take this fucking photo down. I'm not even joking. She's like #1 hater. Yeah, it's really, really crazy.
It's so fucked up.
So do you feel like sex helped you with your body dysmorphia?
Yes.
Do you feel like it empowered you? It made you feel...
I think so. I think the first half of me using sex, like in my 20s, the sex that I was having was not the sex that I'm having in my 30s, which I think is an important distinction. In my 20s, I was just doing it for validation, male validation, because my mom told me that I would never, ever have any man interested in me. So I think I kind of went on a spree trying to prove her wrong, which is funny because she didn't know about any of it, and she still doesn't. But I went and had sex with everybody, and I genuinely... the sex was, like, some of it was good, some of it was really, really bad. Most of it was really bad. But then I started to, like, because I've had it so many times now with so many different men that I could no longer, get obsessed because it was just so many times, that I was like, okay, so what do I actually like about this stuff? So start picking out things that I liked, like my likes and my desires mattered. And that's in my 30s, that's what I did, like non-monogamy, like having people in Canada. I moved to Canada in my late 20s, like in Canada, having those kind of people around me that could tell me things about non-monogamy and like safe spaces and kinks and exploring kinks and like sex parties, even like Oasis, you know, is like the sex clubs. I love Oasis. I used to go there all the time. I don't anymore, but I do still kind of go with my partner. It's fun. But
well, I was gonna ask you, okay, so now you've been seeing this guy for 2 years.
Yes.
Sex life is great, right? Chemistry's still there. Are you open? Are you guys open?
Yes. So we're both queer. Well, I discovered I was bi. Sorry, there's just so much, I feel like. But I discovered I was bi, like, right before I was getting married, and I had, like, a panic attack about it, and my best friend was like, I was waiting. And my partner at the time was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, okay. So I also said we have to do open marriage because I want to sleep with girls. And I did. I slept with a lot of girls, but I have since then hit a wall. Don't talk to me. Gay panic. Don't talk to me about it. But my partner and I are both bi, which I think is really beautiful in its own way. Like, bisexuality is a spectrum. You can be more into one or the other. That doesn't mean that you're not attracted to the other gender. It just doesn't mean that you're attracted to fucking everyone, and that's fine. It really depends on chemistry, like I said. So yeah, it's really nice to have him around, and we are open. So he gets to, like, he's allowed to play with anybody he wants, but we obviously have certain rules around it. Like, I would like to know, and we try to, like, stay the night. We don't live together, so we try to spend the night with each other after we've seen someone else, just to, like, kind of ground and connect back. It doesn't always happen. Life gets in the way, but we try to do that. But yeah, we are allowed to play with our own people, but we also have threesomes together, which is, I don't like to force connection, so I'm not going to tell a girl, like, hey, come have a threesome with us, which is funny because most of the threesomes we had were with bi men, but we have to make sure that she or he is bi, because we don't want one of us to feel left out, unless that is the point of the threesome. Like, there's so much conversation to be had around these things, and people don't, which is, can I tell you my threesome story now?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so my threesome story is that I've met this Palestinian girl who was dating this Lebanese man. And by the way, I just want to say this out loud once and for all. My favorite, I've slept with a lot of different cultures, nationalities, everything. My favorite kind of man, my favorite kind of cock, Egyptian cock.
Because it's so girthy, right?
So girthy. Why is it so girthy?
Yeah, it's really girthy.
It's so good.
That's so funny. But they're not necessarily the longest. Like, they are long, but they're not like the longest.
They're good enough. I'm not a size.
Yeah, they're good enough.
Yeah.
I think they're very, really good boyfriend dick.
Actually, now that I just thought back to those specific people that I'm thinking of, yes. It was boyfriend dick.
I love that. Oh my god. Egyptian men are going to love to hear this.
I'm sure. But what was I saying? So yeah, threesome story. So Lebanese man, Palestinian girl, lived in Canada. Yeah. We met off a field. I was chatting with him, but I thought I sent him my essay of things of I'm into and not into. I may not have, wouldn't know because we unmatched later. And she met her. She's a firecracker. Like, she's really bubbly. She is so hot. He is also very hot, but he is very mellow and also, like, just wasn't making conversation, honestly. He was kind of a dick, and I ignored all of it because honestly, how many times have I slept with, like, conventionally hot men just so I can be like, oh, I slept with this man, like, look at him. But honestly, they were like losers a lot of the time. Like, they're also really bad in bed. Like, they will show up and they'll just think that here are my abs, so I guess that's all I have to present at this sex dance. So she and we went back to their place because I was really feeling her. We were flirting. And he was kind of quiet. It was a bar, but I was like, fuck it, whatever, we'll be fine. Get to their house. We play like one game. Their house is disgusting, by the way, but not even getting into that. You have someone coming over and clean up your house. Okay?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Anyway, then we went to their bedroom and he just starts fucking her in a very specific kinky way, which I hate. And no shade to those who love it. I hate daddy dom, baby girl. Like, I hate that. I really do not like it. And especially not with asshole men. Like, it's like, that's who you are.
Right.
First of all, you're not pretending. This is not a kink.
Yeah, there's no role play one. That's just who you are at your core.
And she just started making this baby voice, which was very unattractive. And
whoa, wait, there's a word for this, right? What is it?
Little girl. I don't know what is.
No. There's another word where people, like, want to be fucked as like a 2-year-old or like a 3-year-old. Like, they literally fucking, like, role play that they are that.
God,
it's really.
It was bad.
It's really, like, I mean, not to kink shame, but it's very creepy.
Yeah, no, not to kink shame. Look, people are allowed to like what they like, but tell people that you're going to be, especially if you're going to be fucking them, you have to tell people these kind of things. And he was all about cock worship. And look, his cock was beautiful. I will not lie. It was gorgeous. But I'm not worshiping a man's cock in 2025, the year of our Lord.
Yeah.
No, especially if you beg me for it. Ew. Like, it should come from within me. It should come from the heart, or I'm not worshiping your cock. Right. I'm just not. But I was trying to worship her, and I'm really into, like, sensual, slow, and they were really into rough sex. And by they, I mean he, because, oh, by the way, he tried to get inside me without a condom. I was like, no, you're going nowhere without a condom. So he was like, oh, we're out. And I was like, then you're not fucking me. It's really that simple. I can fuck her, but or I could leave. And he was like, okay, I'll go get a condom. So he went and got a condom, but it was so funny. You could tell that he hated it because I was like, no rough sex. Because he was pounding the shit out of her. And I was like, are you drilling for oil, man? Like, you need to go slower. This is not fun. I can't feel things. So, yeah, both him and I hated the little bit of sex that we had. And then he would be like, suck my cock. And I was like, for the 50th time.
Ew! He does not deserve to be in the room with two women. Disgusting. For what?
Second of all, he did not go down on any of us at any point during
disgusting.
The threesome. We went down on him like 5 times. And the
what? No.
Girl, I was so pissed. Then at some point, I also hate spit. Okay, now spit, like, it's fine to be sloppy and stuff, but I hate like the hawk too. I hate the
yeah. I don't do that. Yeah,
I don't like it. Just like,
but I understand. I
get it.
That sometimes you need it. Yeah.
But I really would like people to like not make that noise. So I actually say that in my little essay. I like, say that no spit, especially that sound that you make. And he was finally like, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, I gotta go. Like, I was not having fun. Everything was for his eyes. And when he went down, she was like, is it okay if we still play? And I was like, you're naked, I'm naked, we're already fucking. Of course we're gonna still play. Why are you asking him?
Right.
And B, he's the one who needs a condom. And like, I was like kissing her real slow and like being really sweet to her. And she was like, I love this. And I was like, then why the fuck is your boyfriend not doing this shit to you? Why the fuck is he not doing this shit to you? I was so mad. But anyway, finally when she did the walk to on his dick the final time, that's when it was like an inch away from my face. Like, I'm not even joking. And I was like, okay, and I just got up. And I was like, look, this is gonna be really weird. And I started wearing my clothes. I was like, but I'm gonna leave. I'm not having as much fun. And if you're not having fun, what's the point, right? Like, nobody's like being forced to do this. And I'm sure you guys would rather also want to have fun with just each other. If I'm not having fun, you don't want me around, right? So I'm gonna leave. It was 3 a.m. I was in their apartment. Nasty ass apartment. But I just picked up my shit. And in fact, I was being so sweet. I was like, girl, you should keep sucking his dick. Yes, I love watching you suck his dick. Yeah. And I'm wearing my clothes. And then I'm like, and they're just like looking at me like agape. I'm not even joking. They were like, he didn't say a word. And then I sent her a nice text. But when I walked out of there, by the way, I had the biggest high I've ever had in my life. I was like, I am the president of the earth, actually. I'm sorry. I just left a couple. Like, I could never even leave a man. I would go through bad sex with men and I would be like, ugh. But like a whole ass couple in their apartment. Which was so far. It was in North York. I live in downtown. I don't have a car.
That is far.
It was a trek. And I was very, very proud of myself. I walked out at 3 a.m. I actually walked around a little bit before I headed home because I was like, I had so much adrenaline in me. And it was great because I was not having fun. Okay, and I was so pissed off. But I later texted her, I was like, if you want to see me again, I would love to, but just you. I was like, listen, that guy had no conversation with me. He's attractive, but at what cost? I don't care that he's attractive. I wanted to feel the chemistry. I think that's something we should have talked about. And I apologize for not communicating, but I was like, you guys should have also communicated. You are very specific kinks. Cock worship, man, in 2025. I'm just, no.
Cock worship is just like so like ridiculous, and I hate it when a guy's like, do this, say that, do it, whatever. Like,
it's so not hot.
I'm like, it has to come from me or it's fake. And then they accuse women of faking orgasms or whatever. I've never ever faked in bed ever because I'm also new. Like, I joined the party very late and I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I was too much of an empowered feminist to like bend on. Yeah, I was like, no, I know all of this. I know what you guys are watching, porn. I know what you're basing this off of. I know you guys don't have any idea what the fuck you're doing. I know most people are having junk food sex and they're not fully in tune with their body. Like, I'm on it, okay? But it also helps to hear people talk about. I learn a lot from hearing people just talk, like, because you're putting words to things that I didn't even notice. Like you saying you don't like spit, for instance. I'm like, yeah, I don't like spit either, but I do it sometimes if it's like necessary, but I don't like the sound. Like, for you to actually say specifically, I don't like the sound, and you put that in your field paragraph. That's like, so I'm like, yeah, I should name all my likes and dislikes in bed.
Yes.
That is very empowering. Yeah, and I'm public about how I went to a sex club in Berlin last year and a sex party in Beverly Hills. I didn't do anything, but I was watching so much and I clocked a lot of things that I'm very curious about. So I know that when I actually feel comfortable to start exploring with someone in the bedroom, or if I eventually join a kink club, or I'll know what I am like curious about. So I think all of this is like so helpful. We got to wrap up though, because we've been yapping for a while.
Of course, yeah.
But where do you see yourself at this point going with your sexual journey and the rest of your life?
Honestly, I would love to be more queer in my sexual explorations. I don't really fully understand the dynamic with other women yet, mostly because I think I've always viewed myself through the male gaze, and it's very hard to like understand the female gaze, even though I am a female. It's confusing. Because I feel like we're all like versions of ourselves that we think the male gaze would have liked. Like even parts of my personality, you know. And all of these are now me, and who would I be if it wasn't for the patriarchy and yada yada, right? But it is who I am. So it's very hard to like explore. I get by panic quite easily. Like a girl would come. I'm very good at flirting with men. I mastered it down. And I think the difference between men and women is that I don't consider men as people anymore.
Right. It is very intimidating.
I'm like, oh my god, they're obviously like way cooler than me. I would never think that of a man. Not a singular man. So I would like to do that in my future, more of that. But I genuinely just want to keep continuing exploring all of these like sexual parts of me, and like exploring different people, different dynamics, and doing it with my partner. I think that's really wholesome and just really sweet. Like I think you earlier asked me, and I don't think I answered it, that what do you, like, is it just luck? Like, how did this happen between us? And I think it is a very shared interest of sex as an art form. Like, we both really enjoy good sex, like not junk food sex. We've had all of that, you know, and we are both sluts. Like, he also has a very high body count. And that's what makes us so good in bed.
He's not Muslim, by the way, right?
No, he's white.
He's white.
Yeah. My first white man.
Wow. They do be healthy, though, a lot of them.
Honestly, he has the nicest family, and I'm like, is this what happens when you have he's secure. His attachment style is secure.
Disgusting.
I know. I am awfully disgusted all the time. His parents love him. And he's not like an insane person. Like, he's not like, obviously he has his privileges, but he's gorgeous, first of all. Second of all, he's like really kind, really cares about community, really cares about family, really cares about his friends, and he really is a lover. Like he has no qualms about being a simp for me in public. Like, he is
good,
obsessed with me, and I am obsessed with him, but it's so embarrassing to admit in public. But it's just like green flag.
That's the Muslim girl. That's the Muslim girl trauma, right? Like the PSA. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get deported. and then it's just like a guy like kissing you on the street, like your boyfriend kissing you on the street. And meanwhile, there's all this panic. I understand, but anyways.
I definitely, when I moved from Dubai to Canada, one thing I remember telling a few guys that I went on a first few dates with, I was like, I want you to kiss me on the street. And he was like, we can go to your place or something, it's right there. And I was like, no. Because in Dubai, like, even to just like kiss someone, you need to be behind closed doors, which I feel like implied so much more. And I'm like, I just want to be able to kiss you in this moment. And I couldn't, and I hated it. So I really used the shit out of it. I think that's why I'm also very PDA, because A, my family wasn't. B, Dubai, no PDA. So now I'm like all up in everyone's business. And I don't care if I'm disgusting you. I don't care.
Every time I kiss a guy on the sidewalk, I'm like, we're winning in some way. Yeah. This is what I almost forgot this was the whole point.
Yeah.
Like TikToks. Yeah, it's literally to kiss a guy in the street without fearing for your life. God.
Literally.
So you want to continue exploring with your man, and the fact that he himself was a slut is what makes him really good in bed.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that and the fact that he loves it as an art form, because I feel like a lot of men will be probably putting their cocks everywhere, but they will not be doing the work. And he does the work, and, you know, like, we talk a lot about sex, about what makes it hot for us. And we also like the same kind of sex. Like, we're very into sensual, intense sex. And yeah, and we have very similar love languages. Like, everything is just aligning, which is so... It was undeniable. Like, I've never felt like that And it was like clearly undeniable. Like I met him soon after my ex moved out, which was way after we broke up, but that's another, story. But he and I met and I was like, I need to be railed out of my mind. I need to forget that my heart is shattered, that I'm probably going to be alone for the rest of my life. I just need to be railed. And I was like sleeping with a lot of people at that point, but we just had insane chemistry. He was also gorgeous, but then we just like kept sticking together. I blew his mind, by the way. I remember he like wrote down in his gratitude journal, he's like, I slept with a girl called Yasmine today and she squirted in my mouth. And I remember leaving that place being like, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if we see.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is honestly, I understand the high from it, and I understand the addiction, and I understand like it feels really amazing and empowering to be able to do that, and then also to just feel like maybe I'll see this person again or maybe I won't. Like that is like the essence of, I guess like feminine power.
Yes,
like,
I do feel that way.
Goddess, and all these men are like coming to you and you're picking the best sperm.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Yasmine, for being on our show and for being so open and vulnerable. If this episode resonated with you, or if you're a Muslim woman with your own secret to share, please reach out to us at thesecretsexlives@muslimwoman@gmail.com. And remember, every story matters. Your story matters, even when it's being silenced, especially when it's being silenced. I'm your host, Salma Hindi. This podcast is co-produced by Sarah Hussein, and we are recording live from Brooklyn. Thank you.